Hello friends, welcome to a new series about Linux. This is ZE Programmer, and let's get started. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel if you find value in our video. Okay, now let's get started. In this first video, we are going to start with Introduction to Linux. In a nutshell, Linux is actually a community of open-source operating systems developed on Linux kernel as the operating system that provides and manages resources of the hardware to the running programs and software. In this introductory video, we will discuss two main points: the history of Linux and Linux distributions families. Let's start with Linux history. Linux development initially started as a hobby project by a computer science student at the University of Helsinki. He just wanted an independent, open source, and free operating system that he could use on his Intel 8386 microprocessor. Though the first Linux publication was made on August 25, 1991, the roots of Linux creation essentially dates back to 22 years earlier. That is to mean in 1969, if you did the math. This was when Thompson and Dennis Ritchie created Unix after the dropout of Multics project. The first release was made in 1970. As the two were developing also C programming language, the Unix was rewritten in C 2 years later. In 1983, Richard Stallman started GNU project, which is a core concept for the Linux. Later in 1987, Andrew created and released Minix, which was solemnly for education purpose. It had so many restrictions on distribution and modification. This operating system was meeting the requirement for Linus. So he announced the starting of a hobby project to create his own operating system. This yielded Linux release in 1991. Since then, Linux got a wide community of developers as an open source project. It was later used in devices like mobile and computers and many servers. Now let's talk about Linux distribution families. Linux distributions are actually divided into three families: the Red Hat Enterprise family, or RHEL, Debian family, and SUSE family. The Red Hat Enterprise family comprised distributions or distros like Oracle Linux, CentOS, and Fedora. In all these distributions, Fedora has more software than other RHEL family Linux versions because Fedora has a more large community involving also developers not in RHEL family. Moreover, Fedora is used as testing platforms for future RHEL releases. The Debian family contains distributions like Ubuntu, which is one of the most common distros used. The SUSE family contains no distribution like OpenSUSE. However, all these distributions have same rule of use, meaning a developer on one Linux distribution can easily switch to another. Choosing the Linux distribution to use lies essentially down to the person preferences. In this course, we will be using Ubuntu 20.04 LTS because it's what I found easy for me. Please feel free to dive deep to find what you prefer to. Okay, friends, this is the end of our video. See you next time.